Starfleet Underground. Every week, we'll take a look at the latest Star Trek news and then check out a current or classic episode of Star Trek.
It's a double episode this week. In Star Trek Prodigy, can Janeway and the kids save the Protostar and get back to space, or will the murder planet eat them all? And Star Trek Discovery is back. Grudge is still queen, Burnham is captain, and there's a president aboard that knows all about the Kobayashi Maru.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good pulsar's blinding light in the sky day. Depends upon where you are. So we're here at Starfleet Underground. My name is Captain Nathan Adams, and we're here with the full crew complement. And if you were on our Patreon, you would know whether or not if we had a guest today. Wait, what? No, Dot, you're not a guest. You're part of the crew. I don't care if you were on the premiere and all your relatives was on the premiere of Discovery. You still part of the... And take off those friggin' sunglasses. Dots don't need sunglasses. Get out of the... Go to maintenance. Thank you. Okay, sorry about that. Where was I? Because before I was rudely interrupted.
Your imaginary friends.
Yes, my imaginary friends. I'm going to send the imaginary guy down there. First off, we're not a podcast for children. So if this is the first time you're listening to us, put us on pause for a second.
Yeah, we're really fucking sorry.
Yeah, chase the kids out.
Not
and
good
if you're
for
a kid,
kids.
yeah, don't be in here. We have our full crew. We have our wonderful science officer.
Hi, I'm Heather Ferris. I'm the science officer, and I was wondering what was going on with the Dot. He was walking around here with like a cape on, and like you said, with the sunglasses on, and he had like a martini in his hand, and he was ordering all the other Dots around, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Now I know.
Yeah,
it's Discovery.
They've been bitten by a Hollywood bug. Mm-hmm. Speaking about a person who likes to get bitten, Patrick?
I'm Patrick. I'm number one. I'm also the computer guy and the foreign species liaison. And you're going to get bit in a minute, bitch.
Don't talk to the Dots like that. They get so upset. Chief.
Hey, good morning, everybody, or afternoon or evening or whatever it was. Blinking pulsars and all. I'm Rocky. I'm the engineer of the show and the ship. And ever since I got invited to see one of these premieres, this was so cool. But I've got now a Section 31 officer staged at my house.
Oh
She's
my gosh.
very big and very muscular. Kind of cute, but you can't tell her that. And, well, she's been hanging out with my parents looking at all of the baby photos.
Oh, she got a Kwashawaki.
I told you that they like you, Rocky. They always talk about your tripod.
So does she just stand in the corner and watch you when you sleep? Because mine did that, and it freaked me out.
Yeah, I get a little bit of that, and watching me when I'm eat and
when you're showering,
when I'm showering, and when I'm taking a crap. Like that's the weirdest part. I mean, I don't even like to be on the phone when people call. You know, when you're in the toilet, and
especially when she offers to wipe for you.
Oh God, that's awkward.
I heard that she likes to shake it off for you too. So you go number one. She goes, "You shouldn't be lifting anything heavy in engineering here. Let me handle that for you." So that's been interesting. For those of you that don't know, the entire crew was invited to the virtual premiere of the Star Trek Discovery. And because of that, Section 31 has been all over the place, making sure that we don't give any type of spoilers or anything. So like, for instance, for this spoiler.
You mean we can't tell them that Saru got married?
Censored by Section 31.
Shh, don't tell them that.
They're here already. They're going to be all over the place. Like, it's going to be the first time that Star Trek has a full frontal.
Censored by Section 31.
And it was just amazing. I mean, okay. Hopefully they let that go through. If not, well, you'll find out because it's going to be aired.
Censored by Section 31.
Corrections. We get any corrections?
Let me check subspace here. I didn't see anything earlier, but you know how that goes. Nope. Everything is clear. We are flawless once again.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Then we're going to go straight into the news section. I'm going to mix it up a little bit. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to let Patrick give his news article first.
Okay, so as some of you know, Paramount pulled Star Trek Discovery from Netflix at the very last minute. So people who around the world who were watching Discovery on Netflix are no longer able to at this point. They have to wait for it to come out on Paramount Plus. And the cast of Discovery echoed the frustration of the crew. Sonequa Martin Green also said that she goes, "For our beloveds around the world, we need a cast found out the news when you did. We are gutted. Believe me when I say we share your shock and frustration. You'll know as soon as we know where you can see the show. And as always, much love." Anthony Rapp says, "I don't pretend to understand how these sorts of deals for international rights are made or unmade. I will say I wish we had been told that this was coming so that we could have braced ourselves and then we could have helped spread the word to all of you. We remain deeply grateful to all of you. We hope that when the show makes its way to you, you will continue to support the hard work that we have all done to bring Discovery to life. We are all saddened that you will have to wait longer to experience season 4. So, they're standing in solidarity with the very much the outrage.
And there's a lot of that going on right now.
It's basically bullshit. I can come out and say that. At the same time, it's legacy bullshit. This is, in modern day times, technology is there. It's available. There's nothing to stop you from putting out something on the net and for it to appear everywhere simultaneously in the world. It's just as much as limitations as the bandwidth and your hard drive space. And that's it. So they could click a button and it's everywhere. It's not that hard.
It's
just like venereal disease.
This is
amen, brother.
Whoops. It's legacy. They had deals in place from beforehand, and they didn't prearrange these deals to be done by the end of the year, and they want to have them kick off at the beginning of the year when they're ready to do it because they've got deals in place that forbid them from doing other things. So then they pull stuff and yank stuff and then you end up with
which is what get you a venereal disease when you're yanking stuff.
Yeah, but actually I thought pulling it was safe. But anyway,
it depends on who's pulling it.
You have to wash your hands.
It's only safe when the Section 31 agent is pulling it.
Because they wash their hands.
I thought there's a matter of timing and pulling out, but that's not pulling it. That's different. The kids, ask your parents. Wait, no, kids aren't listening, so fuck that.
Kids, don't watch.
Don't listen to us.
Yeah, don't listen to us.
But yeah, it's really annoying in 2021 that the world cannot exist as one fandom for a show like Star Trek that is such a future-looking show, that something like this could happen. And something that had the cast and crew had no fucking idea. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
No, it was a money grab, pure and simple. They figure they're going to want everyone to have Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus is getting ready to go worldwide. So they want everyone to sign for it. And what's the best way to do it is like a crack dealer to have like the Eisenberg blue meth. The blue color, everybody wants the blue color meth, and everyone wants it. You can't get it anywhere else. And so that's what they want to do. They want to be the single source crack distributor of Star Trek.
I'm okay with it being the single source. I mean, that's understandable. When you are Paramount and you have this intellectual property, the entirety of Star Trek at your feet, you can take and use that to be, that's what your job is to do, is to make that money off of that property. I understand that. That's okay. Make the money. I get it. I mean, it sucks we have to pay a monthly fee to watch Star Trek, but at the same time, I love Star Trek and I love the quality and I love supporting it and I love being able to go back and watch old stuff too. And I love their remastering thing. I mean, I love all of that. So I'm willing to pay for this because I am a fan and I'm okay with paying for it. But at the same time,
if you didn't, we wouldn't have a show.
Exactly. But the synchronicity of, this global organization that Paramount is trying to become, it's such a sloppy job to not get this shit in sync.
Well, that's where you have Ferengi's in charge. And I know Heather's got a bit to add to this as well.
Yeah, so my news this week sort of tailgates, I don't know if that's the right word, onto Patrick. Thank you. Onto Patrick's story. So it's going to be available in early 2022, so they don't have to wait too long. But yeah, it still is such BS that they have to wait, period.
But how early? I mean, they need to put a fucking date out. I mean, come on.
Right.
Just say January 1st, because that's where the legal thing's got to be, right?
Well,
it's so annoying.
Early 22 could be like March, April.
Right. It could be the middle of friggin', April.
But the side effect of this is that you basically have banned people from using social media because there's going to be spoilers coming out of the US. Like
Spoilers
crazy.
galore. And you got these people that are like, I'll put the filters on. That's cute. That's not going to work. It's cute, but it's not going to work.
Yeah, if I was international, I'd be so mad about this. So mad.
Yeah, it's fucked.
I just want to say, this is how you get pirates, okay? If they don't want pirates, maybe they shouldn't do crap like this.
Arr.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you want to talk about the technology. There's nothing to stop the piracy.
Right. I mean,
there really isn't. I mean, you can try to say, let's send the cops to every house that downloads from that IP address. But come on, it's more complicated than that.
That's what VPNs are for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Watch out. Tendy's coming for you, Paramount.
It's just like from Firefly. I'm crossing streams over here. What Mr. Universe says, the signal goes everywhere. And, you can't stop the signal, Mal. You just can't stop this signal.
You can't stop the signal. There's no way to know.
The signal's out there, and he says, and I am everywhere. So
the internet was designed to kind of work after the nuclear shit goes off. So if it doesn't go one place, it goes the other. That was a basic design of the whole internet. Now people are, been hacking it and working it for the last 30 years. They've got to figure it out. You can block one thing, it's going to come around the other edge to the other side. That's technology is it's mathematics when it comes down to it. You can't stop mathematics.
Well, it's also just really, really bad management because here they are. They're starting Discovery right now when we're in the middle of Prodigy. They could have just finished Prodigy, wait for everybody, like including the US and Canada, and then do Discovery in early 2022 so we all watched it at the same time. They had the episodes for Prodigy. They could have just finished Prodigy.
No. They got to get the money on the books for 2021.
And you can't stop the beat either.
No. You can't stop the beat.
It is like a lot of people who understand or use the internet. Once something is on the internet, it's basically on there forever, ever, because and they can't stop it. It's going to be out there. It's going to be. I know torrent is still exists in one form or another, even though they shut down. I think they shut down Pirate Bay and some of the other famous torrent sites.
Pirate Bay is still up.
It is. So they're going to be getting it all over the place. My news, to switch it up a little bit, is going to be LeVar Burton. You know how everyone was really wanting him to do Jeopardy, and they kind of screwed him over from that. However, there is a Canadian multinational entertainment company called Entertainment One, E1, is developing a show on Trivial Pursuit. And they're going to go ahead and get LeVar Burton to host it. So, and I think that is going to be really friggin' awesome. That's because cool. I love Trivial Pursuit. It's one of the few things that I could apply my useless knowledge on to win stuff. So it's amazing. It's in development right now. And he's going to be doing a show version of it. And it's in development for a bit. And that news just dropped on the 16th for those of you that are really interesting. So those are all, wait. We didn't get to Rocky yet. Rocky, your news.
I was going to see if you caught that or not. The dot was in the corner ready to go off. I was looking at the news and like, what the hell news is going on? Because I know the whole distribution of Star Trek issue thing, that was going to be a big story. I'm like, okay, fine. And then news shows are out. That's like awesome and cool, but we were going to talk about it anyway. Like, what else is, and I flipped over and I looked, StarTrek.com right there, restoration of Star Trek the motion picture. The producer of the director's edition that they're restoring, David C. Fine or Fenn, F-E-I-N. Fine? Fane. Anyway, producer David of the motion picture restoration, director's edition, it released a whole bunch of photos. There's like these beautiful photos of behind the scenes. They're mixing Star Trek the motion picture in a audio facility with the big screen and the board with the screens on it and everything, all the meters and things. And there's a segment of it playing with the beautiful sequence of them doing the fly around of the Enterprise in space dock. I'm just really excited over all of this, and my nerddom just like, I came a little. So, because, it's audio boards and Star Trek at the same time. It's just fucking cool. They're remixing it in Dolby Atmos, so that also means I need to update my sound system at home. I think it's about time.
Well, now I know what the dots were cleaning up.
Yeah, Dot, go ahead. What do you mean Section 31 won't let you clean him?
Boom, not him.
It looks like Section 31 is taking a personal interest in your hygiene there, Chief. Okay. We got our news out of the way, and we're going to go into our recap. Actually, for you people that are out there that are fans of Heather's recap and Patrick's recap, have a double treat today because we're actually going to be recapping two shows. We're going to go ahead and go about the mid-season cliffhanger for Prodigy, which they had where they were trapped on the planet. And then we're going to try our best not to do spoilers because we actually seen the first and second episode of the new season of Discovery. And it was really amazing.
I mean, it was cool to see the first episode before everyone, but then the second one was like, wow. Get the story going.
Nerd boner.
I know the Dot was behind me cleaning up.
So it was definitely.
I heard
that you slipped out of your chair. So there was that. So let's go ahead and get started. Heather, you're up. And wait,
Captain.
before we do, one thing. I want to say that I am proud to say I have one best science officer in Starfleet. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Captain. I appreciate that. So can we make it like instead of Captain's Day, can we make it Science Officer Day?
I'll look into that.
Yes, that's not a no.
That means no.
Shit.
It won't be held in the galley, that's for sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so this week's episode is Star Trek Prodigy, Season 1, Episode 5, Terror, Firma. It first aired November 18th, 2021. Act 1, Murder Planet. Dahl has a chip on his shoulder and blames Gwyn for their situation. They ditch the bitch, all except Rok, our adorable little empath, as she tries to help Gwyn, who is struggling with a broken leg. But Gwyn uses her mind control metal to create a cast to help her walk. Their mission is to walk to the ship 10 kilometers away and try to avoid Audrey. They better get there fast because Audrey is about to eat the ship. Feed me, Seymour.
Feed Miss Seymour.
Feed me all night long.
Hologram Janeway does her best to save the ship while waiting for the crew to return. They might take a while as the mountains, trees, and shrubs shift around and adjust in an Alice in Wonderland type fashion where nightmares are reality. Luckily, Gwyn kicks ass, dominating over the monsters. Yet the consequence of an epic fire forced the crew to jump over a cliff and slide down a mountain.
That opening
Murder Planet!
scene
Murder
was,
Planet.
Yeah, that opening scene was wild. So that thing is like multifunctional. That's like the Swiss Army knife of all tools.
It reminded me of the labyrinth. It keeps changing. What am I supposed to do?
I know.
Just make sure you change your underwear because you're going to need it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It was pretty bad. And again, I just love Rok-Tahk's empathy.
Rok-Tahk.
That's Rok-Tahk. What did I say?
Rok-Tahk.
I said Rok-Tahk.
Yeah, it's Rok-Tahk.
Rok-Tahk. Okay. So Rok-Tahk. I love the empathy that the Rok-Tahk has. And it's
Rok-Tahk.
is the
You can't smell what Rok-Tahk is cooking.
But you can smell what Murf is putting out.
It's kind of like, kids, they have such an innocent heart. Well, most of them, sometimes they're evil little rug runners. But you get some kids that are really empathetic and they understand. And even though she's been on a prison planet this whole time, she still feels really got that innocence still. And I like that.
Yeah, a good example is when she was talking about Gwyn. She's like, well, at least she saved Murf.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was a point. I think all of those little sayings, got under Dell's skin and for him to mull it over, even though he wasn't showing it.
This is an episode where Dahl is changing up a little bit. He's not completely changed. In fact, I think he's still not right yet, but he kind of contemplated the other side of what he was thinking.
Yeah, he wasn't as annoying on this episode.
But the girl broke her fucking leg. I mean, come on, dude. Have a little bit. She stole the starship. You stole the starship too. Give her a fucking break. Not her leg.
Although I have to say, Dahl is probably going to stay annoying because if you watch the after show on Paramount Plus on YouTube, they have Kate Mulgrew on there talking about Dahl, and she's like, "Oh, that little shit." She didn't say that little shit, but you could tell that's what she was thinking. She's like, "Yeah, he's interesting." He's a little shit.
That was funny.
Yeah.
Patrick, you're strangely quiet for the beginning of this.
No, I watched it. I didn't take notes because I was doing all the notes for Discovery.
You shouldn't have to do the notes because Heather gives an awesome recap. So what was your thoughts on the beginning?
Well, it was like the leftover from the previous episode where they find themselves stranded on this planet. They're like, well, what the hell are we going to do? We're going to get eaten.
Yeah.
And the hills are moving.
The hills are alive.
Oh my God. Was that in this section?
Was it just me or did the hill look like the Paramount logo just a little bit?
Yeah, it did. And just like Paramount, they're moving the goalposts.
Right.
Oh my God. But I'm
Although they did seem to keep it the same 10 kilometers. And of course, I had to Google this up. It's about 6.2 miles for people who don't know what a fucking kilometer is, which is me. And
me.
Yeah. And if you don't know how long is 6.2 miles, well, it's over 12,000 steps. So if you've been one of those people that were able to nail the 10,000 mark on your Fitbit or your app or whatever, it's a little bit more than that. And they did it one distance and they kept running and then the fucking hills moved and they're still that distance away. So that sucks.
Yeah.
The planet was terraforming itself.
Yeah. It was really,
I
that's
love
an
Rok-Tahk was
evil
like,
planet.
it's scaring us.
Rok-Tahk had the best lines in this. Rok-Tahk was like, since we found this planet first, do we get to name it? Can we name it Larry?
Larry.
I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, it's so awesome.
Like, how random is Larry? I mean,
I know. That's so awesome.
I mean, Larry the Cable Guy. Yeah.
There you go. That would be funny.
Larry. That was so awesome.
And I love Murf. Murf just fucking, Jenkum Pog was all talking all cozy about being in his funny little space suit that he couldn't keep sealed. But he's like, I'm not cold because I'm wearing a spacesuit. And Murph's
That
like,
was funny. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, Pod was doing a really, he was not Pod. Oh my God.
Yeah, Jenkum Pog.
Jenkum Pog was doing an attitude thing, like just like a kid, but he's not a kid. It's like, y'all made fun of me because I have this spacesuit. Guess who's not laughing now? You're cold. I'm warm because this is as heating. And wait, I just went to the bathroom. You guys can't do that.
But you know what? When Murph went, that shows that he understands what everyone else is saying.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's a good point.
Oh, yeah.
Murph knows what's up.
That's a really good point.
But he knows what's going on.
Yeah, that was a good catch there.
He may be a big gelatinous blob, but he knows what's happening.
So Jenkum, is he like the only adult around and everyone else is a kid?
Yeah, but he's not
Pretty
really
much.
an adult. He's a kid at heart.
Well, that sounds
Yeah.
like most adults.
Yeah.
No, this is true.
Now-
I'm not sure. They never talked about how old Jenkum is. I'll be curious. We have to try to research that.
Yeah. Now, the name of this episode was Terror Firma, close to Terra Firma, which was actually the Discovery episode where Giorgio went back to the Mirror Universe and the Guardian of the Forever, like Carl, weighed her soul. Season 3, episode 9. So I thought that was cool that they did like a play on words, because the first time I heard the name of the episode, I'm like, haven't we had a few episodes named Terra Firma? No, it's Terror.
I just looked it up. Jenkum Pog is 16 years old.
Oh,
he
really?
is a kid.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. He's
Cool.
got the mind of a 12-year-old, but yes.
Yeah.
See, and thank you. See, I have a good computer person here. My number one is number one. Okay.
And meanwhile, Janeway is back on the ship trying to figure out what to do with all this, with the vine problem that she has.
That
and
was cool.
My note was, what would the real Janeway do?
Yes.
Or WWTRJD.
We need to make a shirt with that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I don't know. I don't think hologram Janeway would say that, because if you remember Voyager, the doctor on Voyager, he did talk about the guy that he was modeled after, and he wouldn't talk like that. And it sort of bugged me. What did you guys think about that?
I kind of liked it. I mean, it's not taking itself entirely too seriously at the same time being a serious cartoon. Janeway's aware that she's a hologram and she's not the real Janeway.
Yeah.
And I think it kicks back to the legacy of people who grew up watching Voyager.
But the difference, too, is that a holographic doctor is probably more sentient than a training hologram.
Oh, you're right, because
So-
they need to have empathy and all that. And
Empathy and bedside manner, and
Right.
whereas hologram Janeway just needs to be able to give instructions. She doesn't.
that
need
makes
to be,
sense. So that's why That's why the doctor on Voyager was... When he talked about the dude he was modeled after, he talked about it like, oh, that's this other person and I'm another person. He like separated the two.
Yeah, and Janeway is specifically a representation of a person specifically. The doctor is just designed to be an emergency doctor hologram, just happened to be modeled after the
Now,
guy.
if you remember correctly with the doctor, they had a problem with his memory. Because remember, they said he wasn't supposed to be on for so long. He was getting corruption and they had to figure a way to increase his storage capacity or else they were going to lose him. But it shows that he was growing and his personality from the first time on the show until the end, he really developed as a character and as an individual despite being a hologram. And I think that that's what's going to happen to Janeway because she had to figure out a problem that she wasn't designed to. Like she's supposed to be training, but she's like, how can I get these things off the ship?
That's a really good point.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not really programmed for this, but I'm also modeled after a person who can handle this kind of thing. So let's handle it.
So I thought that was pretty cool. And it's like, I kept screaming, use the dots, use the dots.
Well, when you put it that way,
ship scrubbers and stuff. I thought that was cool.
I thought that was awesome. And she's like, okay, well, first I got to keep them from getting in, close the cargo bay doors. So I thought that was good. It was
really
very
good
cool.
point.
And I love that the first thing that she went to after she figured out that she couldn't shut down gravimetric protostar containment, the next most important thing to shut down, those fucking food replicators, because she can never make those things work right anyway.
She did it for Heather because she heard that Heather might be on the ship. So she was like, I better save
And
the
a hologram doesn't need to
replicators.
eat anyway, so.
No.
Right. She already had her coffee, so there's that.
Right?
Now, there's one more quote that I want to talk about before we move on to the next section. And it was when Zero was saying, technically, this is not a planet. It's a sentient life form. I thought that was interesting. But then I love the little quip they had after that where he's like, perhaps I can ask him its name. Nope. No. He just wants to eat us.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious.
That was funny.
Like, oh my God, it's sentient and you could communicate with it? Oh, it's just trying to eat us.
It's
that actually was funny.
I loved that the moment Dahl picks up Zero and uses it as a flashlight. I just, what the fuck,
Made me
Dahl?
laugh. That was really, he's like,
And Zero's like,
I'm
well,
talking
I'm
about
okay with this, but
he's like,
it's
Invading your personal space.
right?
like, he didn't even ask. He just reached up and grabbed him.
He's like, what are we doing? Okay, you can use me for this. I'm okay with this.
That was funny.
The other comical moment, they're trying to get the phasers going, and Zero is like, oh, I think I can make it work now. Meanwhile, Dahl almost got his face burnt off by it. But he rips it away from him. It just dual phasers it. Dual phaser action is cool. Even if you are Dahl, I think it's cool to do dual phasers because that looks awesome.
Yeah.
It was a really good action sequence that was the right type of scary, but not so scary that a 7-year-old could watch. So that was cool.
I mean, and they had a great solution to the problem, burn the fucking vine, but you also saw the ramifications of once you set plants on fire, they all burn and they started a major fucking forest fire.
Well, it depends on what kind of plants you're smoking.
They weren't smoking these plants. They were burning them first. If they were smoking these plants, it would be a different show, sir.
It was secondhand smoke. They got high off the secondhand smoke. They were hotboxed.
You don't know if Jake and Bob had rolling papers in his space.
Right?
Out of all of them, he might be the one that does.
Yeah, exactly. He would be the one. All right, I guess we should go to the next section.
Hi, Captain. Act 2, Navigate by Constipation.
That was so funny.
The crew safely makes it down the hill and away from danger. Perfect time for the acid rainstorm to begin. The crew quickly finds cover, and as they wait out the storm, they eat dinner and share their recent experiences and feelings. One of the revelations was that Gwyn's dad gave her the psychic metal band/sword/arrow/cast, which was amazing. As Dahl and Gwyn look up at the stars, they realize that they can navigate the terrain by the stars since they don't move. At that moment, Gwyn's dad arrives, here to pick up his daughter and his ship.
This part here was the first indication that we talked about when the show first started about the relationship between Dahl and Gwyn, that they did have some sort of friendship because they were able to sit there and basically kind of reminisce a little bit and then realize that the stars, they came to a solution, but they came to a solution together which I thought was really cool.
Doll just wants to get in her pants.
Oh my God.
Doll was actually paying attention, and his eyes were open. He was like noticing, oh, that metal thing you got, that's actually pretty fucking cool. You control it with your mind? Oh my God. I got to pay attention because she might fucking think myself to death.
Right?
It's like during lonely times.
The Force.
I mean, Jedis are kind of hot in the Star Trek universe, right?
It's like, well, during lonely times, can you fashion that into a dildo?
Oh.
Yeah, he didn't say that, but some of them were thinking it.
Yeah,
I bet she
That's
could.
a pointy dildo. That would hurt.
No, because he could change the shape.
Yeah, meanwhile, Jacob Pod finds Klingon food delicious.
Even if it was dead cold.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're in the Delta Quadrant, right? And we've got a Tellarite, and this is now a Klingon ship that's been crashed, and we're in the Delta Quadrant. So this is, 5 years after Voyager ended. So obviously something happened where the galaxies came together and decided to take tourism to the Delta Quadrant, and there was a Klingon ship there, because they shouldn't be there, right?
No.
Yeah, that's a good point.
No. That's what I was thinking. It's like, how the hell did the Klingons make it there?
So obviously there's a new tour ride that people are taking over to go visit the Delta Quadrant, you know.
They got swallowed down the black hole of Uranus.
Yeah, maybe that's what they called the planet.
They took the trip to the Badlands. Of course, that sounds cool for a Klingon to do, right?
Yeah, because the warriors, they heard the Hirojin. They heard there are things we can fight. So let's go and test our mettle as warriors.
Species 8472.
Yeah, so that's what they probably,
wouldn't that be interesting to see the Klingons fight Species 8472?
Yeah, they would lose.
That would be bad.
But still.
Yeah, it would be interesting, but they would lose. They would wind up being like in Monty Python, the Holy Grail. They'd fight for a minute, then they go, run away, run away.
run away.
But it was a cool scene around the campfire where you actually saw the first inkling of bonding as a crew.
Yeah, they were kind of hanging together and, being good to each other. I thought that was nice. That was really, really cool.
And the one thing I was waiting for it to happen, Daddy Ugly made it to the planet. But
I thought you were going to talk about, I thought we were going to talk about maybe Dal and Gwyn were going to kiss or something, but
no, that's going to come way later if it does come.
The star thing was really cool, and I like. Well, of course, it's in the next section that he actually gives Gwyn a little bit of credit, but yeah, so I'm happy with all that. But yeah, Dreadnought and the Diviner have arrived.
That's wild, and we're going to go to the next section.
If we haven't mentioned it before, the Diviner is played by John Noble,
who's awesome.
That's why he sounds so familiar. I didn't trigger on his name. He's amazing.
Lord of the Rings and from Fringe.
Wait, what was he on Lord of the Rings?
He was the Mad King who jumped off the Tower of Minas Tirith.
Oh, okay.
After he set his son on fire.
He's a really good actor.
I've got another reason to watch Lord of the Rings. Okay.
Yeah. I had an opportunity to meet him one time and talk with him, and it's kind of freaky to hear that voice in person.
Is it just like it in person? That's funny when you meet actors in person, and some of them are, of course, trained for the theater and have these amazing voices that you don't really. I mean, you can hear them on TV and watch them in movies, and they sound cool. But when you hear that in person, it's it's
wild. Like I met the guy who does the voice of the Borg. The We Are the Borg. Mm-hmm. And he was sitting there and I told him, for the voice, because he wanted me to repeat it. So he leaned forward and did the We Are the Borg in my ear. And I am not proud to say that I giggled like a schoolgirl. I was like,
funny little trivia note. He knows him and my cousin are 6 degrees of separation. My cousin Noah, who's been on Broadway a couple times, knows the Borg guy.
So he's pretty cool. You can usually find him. He's always at the convention and he will quiz you if you do the entire Borg speech. So, but it's fun. I guess we can move to the next section now since we've done the campfire thing, because I'm excited to talk about the planet and the Diviner.
Girls.
Hi, Captain. Moving on to Act 3, Proto-Tingles. The crew is so close to their ship, but Mr. Robotnik stands in their way as the chase begins. Gwyn is separated from the group and has lost her caste and now is vulnerable to Audrey's attacks. She sees her father's light and crawls to him, all the while defending herself. Gwyn's father sees his daughter losing and has a choice to make. Does he save his daughter or the ship from Audrey's clutches? And he chooses the ship. That motherfucker chose the ship over his daughter, leaving her to die. The race is on as our favorite crew makes it to the Protostar before Gwyn's father does, rescuing Gwyn and flying off the planet and into warp, safe and sound. Damn, jinxed myself. The Diviner ship pulls up behind them, gaining speed, and as the crew tries to figure out how to go faster, Zero realizes that the engine is actually a baby star, which is why the ship is called Protostar. Gwyn's father FaceTimes them and demands the ship, but Gwyn has had enough of his shit, activating the Protostar drive and getting the fuck out of Dodge, finally safe from her villainous father.
This whole last section was everything that I would want in a Star Trek wet dream for an animated series.
Isn't Baby Star one of the Spice Girls?
Oh my God. Rok-Tahk is so fucking cute because you mean it's a baby. It's a baby.
It's a baby.
I thought that was so funny.
The first thing I thought of was Heather. When they said that it was a baby star, I just heard Heather's voice in the back of me. The baby star, the star, the star.
Yes. Baby star.
Oh my God. Do not ruin Star Trek by bringing in Baby Shark.
It's
So
too late.
Baby star.
I will blow you out in airlock.
It's too late. It's happened.
But it was so funny. I was wondering what the Diviner was going to do when he got to that planet, since it could make him see what his desire.
Yeah.
And it made him see the ship.
Yeah.
And I think that Glenn had a come to Jesus moment when she thought that, my daddy, wait, you're leaving me? You only stressed over it for like 6 seconds?
Yeah.
You leaving me here?
And that, I think, is a big turning point, actually, for Dahl, of all people, because once he realized, dude, her own father, like, fucked her over. I mean, Jesus Christ, that's messed up. I mean, we owed you one anyway, so she's now okay for Dahl.
Yeah, and it also answered the question that Janeway didn't consider her to be captain of the vessel anymore because she was back listening to Dahl and everybody.
Oh.
So I thought that was cool. But the guy is like, he looked at his daughter, looked at the ship, looked at his daughter, looked at the ship, looked at his daughter, looked back at the ship, and then over his shoulder, yeah, fuck you, you're gone. You're dead to me. I'm out.
But it's even better that when he picked the ship, that was actually plants he picked. He didn't even pick the real ship. He went up to plants, and the plants almost killed him.
They did an okey doke on that because when the cargo bay
I was
door
really
opened
messed up with that, and now I'm realizing actually what happened because you guys are talking about it. Because I that was confusing to me. I'm like, well, wait, how did Dahl get to the ship before he did? Now I realize he wasn't actually at the real fucking ship.
It was good misdirect they did because they had him look like he was going to walk on the ship, and it's like shit. And then Janeway is looking, and they have the backlight, so you don't see who really is coming up the gangway. And when he gets there, it's Dahl, and the other guy is like, the ship's like, I'm hungry. Feed me food. I'm hungry. You know, so that was wild. So I knew he couldn't have been immune to the planet's ability. So the Diviner got caught.
The big thing about this episode we learned about this crazy fucking planet is it uses your obsession. And dude's obsessed with the ship.
You are an obsession.
Not with his daughter.
My obsession.
I will have you and I will eat you.
So do you want me to be to make you eat me treat? Oh, sorry, wrong verse.
So that was that part there. I was really excited. And of course, he's got to get saved by because he wound up having a nerd rage that it wasn't really the ship. But the part that I also had the giggle fits is when the Diviner's ship was after them and that thing was hauling ass, is when they decided to use the Protostar.
Hello, that was totally Star Trek. J.J. Abrams when the Admiral's chasing after Kirk. And
then the new one.
Yeah.
Where he decided to, go to ludicrous speed. So I thought that was pretty wild when it revealed that middle thing that we've been wondering about since the show.
Yeah.
This is a Protostar that's in. Can you imagine the power of a baby star? You're going to turn around and that's like a Dyson spear. Basically, they have a mini Dyson spear.
That gave me tingles.
It's a Dyson sphere. Sphere, not
that's
sphere.
What I said.
Sphere.
Britney's free now, guys.
Free Britney.
Free Britney. Woo!
Why are you always bothering Britney? Leave her alone. But yeah, I thought that was pretty. Think about the technology. No wonder I don't know why else he would want it, but that tap a star for an energy source.
Oh yeah, no. We heard about.
I'm gonna tap that shit.
The Romulans, the Romulans with their prototype ships using the microsingularities, as their power source. It's not stable, but man, it was fucking powerful.
Yeah,
this is the same sort of cool, crazy shit on the ship. They're using the fucking baby star,
and it makes me wonder if that was an experimental ship that's using basically a baby Protostar.
And I love the name of it. It's just kind of like it's the Protostar. Like, no, it's just a star. No, it's the Protostar.
Protostar. It's in there.
It's like, hello.
And how come Starfleet hasn't been looking for it? Because obviously you just don't find baby Protostars everywhere.
Right.
I'm surprised they don't have a GPS tracker on it where they could see where it went.
At least put
one of those Apple trackers.
Put an Apple AirTag on it.
Right? The problem was it went to the Delta Quadrant because they could get back to it. It was like, oh shit, that thing's powerful. It went all the way to fucking Delta.
They couldn't find it.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's where it went. Oh.
So there's still a lot of mystery to it because first, how did it get to the Delta Quadrant? And also, second, where the hell did the crew go?
Yeah.
And how did they get captured? And then how did they keep the ship hidden?
Maybe Gwyn's father was a part of the crew.
Do you think maybe the ship was stolen?
Oh, that's a possibility.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Or maybe it was on a test run that was automated and the thing just couldn't make the U-turn.
And did you notice another little thing that I thought was really cool? When they activated the Protostar, my science part of it, because I started as a science officer, and when he turned around and said, there is no warp trail, I was like, what?
Like, oh.
All ships leave a warp trail, but this Protostar doesn't leave a warp trail. It went full ninja mode.
It was so fast it didn't leave a trail.
No, it turned into John Cena. You can't see me.
No snail trails for the Protostar.
No, it was pretty damn cool. Mm-hmm. I really liked this episode. It was a satisfactory conclusion to the two-parter, I thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the lesson learned for this episode was don't give up on your friend or why you should forgive your friends.
Yeah. Well, look, Adal was able to pull Gwyn when she was sitting there dying, being corrupted. And they kind of got together and it's like, I can't believe your dad left you.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, no, now we're a crew. Now we're together. Mm-hmm. Now it's all of us. It's
when Gwen's daddy left, she was like, well, okay, fine. I guess you guys are all I got. So
yeah, but she had to say that because, they kind of treated her really crappy in the beginning. Well, not everyone. Mm. So it was kind of interesting. I'm enjoying the development.
I like that Dahl is invested in Gwyn just a bit now because he was literally hanging out of a rope of a friggin' starship to grab her. And then she had to do her metal thing to grab him. I like the bonding between the two of them that is visual and mental at the same time.
I think it's pretty cool because that we've reached the end of it. We're going to see if we can seamlessly segue into Patrick, and he would like that. So Patrick, we're into you now. It's your turn.
Okay, so we're going to cover this episode, Star Trek Discovery Season 4, Episode 1, the Kobayashi Maru, which aired November 18th, 2021. And there's no intro, there's a bunch of acts. So Act 1, don't piss off a Monarch, butterfly that is. Wait, are we on LV-223? Are these pilots, space jockeys, Oceans, or Malakax?
I never said they were indigenous life.
Book and Michael are on an alien planet with the engineers from Prometheus, the Alshane. Things go sideways really fast. The Alshane want to free Grudge, the Queen, a Monarch, the Carnivore, and Book and Michael make a run for it while the Alshane become big old butterfly people. Why is there always a cliff? Why don't you just have a hologram goldfish? I had one. Grudge ate it. Michael insists on giving them dilithium. It's a diplomatic mission after all. Their vessel gets hit. Michael realizes the Alshane are having issues navigating. The magnetic pole started shifting 300 years ago, 14 degrees west of where they were for hundreds of thousands of years. The Alshane used those to navigate. Fix the geomagnetic compensators. They need dilithium to work. Satellites fixed, dilithium given to the Alshane, score 1 for the good guys. Michael and Book escape to the ship. He snarkily pets Grudge as they leave. Back on the ship, the Emperor hails Burnham, who wants to know why they still gave him dilithium. Because that's what we do. We are Starfleet.
That was kind of interesting to see the interplay again, how Book and Michael are a couple, and she's so determined to keep the Star Trek motto and everything. She's like, oh, even though they tried to kill us, even though they're chasing after us, I'm going to try to fix their problem and still give them the lithium, where Book is like everyone else. Yeah, fuck those people. They shot at us. So
yeah, but it was okay because the fairies were shooting like Star Wars stormtroopers.
Yes, they were.
yeah,
Totally.
They couldn't fly.
They couldn't even fly in a straight line. That's like, guys, you get your shit together.
You know,
Yeah.
seriously, the only time they probably flew correctly if they were drunk. But it was wild.
I like Michael. They're not butterfly people.
Yeah, they're fairies.
It was kind of funny, and the eyes were freaky. So
Oh, they did have kind of funky eyes. That was pretty
they
wild.
did.
Yeah.
Especially when the butterflies landed on them, became their eyes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty freaky too.
That was really cool.
But they totally look like the engineers from Prometheus.
Yeah, they did. Like the ones that don't work out.
But why the hell would you bring a cat to a world dominated by butterflies and fairies?
I mean, it was just in the ship. We weren't going to let it out.
They didn't learn from Archer. They didn't learn from what happened to Portos with Archer at the tree.
It's interesting, the lack of empathy for pet people, because, you can understand with somebody who's got, oh, that's my dog. It lives in my truck, basically. That's kind of, you can get that. I mean, you go to a junkyard and, yeah, that's our dog. They watch the junkyard, but they're also our family, You see a cop like rolling with a canine unit. I mean, it's kind of cute sometimes, unless they're trying to bite your leg off.
But if you think about it, they said all the wrong things. This is, why did you bring a carnivore to the planet? It's like, it's not a carnivore, it's our pet.
Yeah, that's
it's your pet. You keep a sentient being as your pet.
It's a monarch. And like, yeah.
We feed it and take
Queen is a pet.
No, we feed it and take care of it. Well, is it grateful? No, it's not grateful.
It's a fucking cat. It is not going to be grateful. Come
It's
on.
like, what? Well, no, it's a queen. You keep a captive royalty person who's ungrateful that you feed it. We need to free it.
They kidnapped a queen. Get them.
These people are horrible. Free their queen.
Seriously.
We can't even fly straight, but we've got to save their queen because, oh my God, they're horrible people.
Who knew Freddie Mercury had been reincarnated in 3189?
But if you think about it, it's a natural, logical conclusion to their thought process. You have another species you keep captive on your ship that you feed it, it's ungrateful, and it's royalty.
I mean,
so
they're
you're going to do that to us?
They're like, these motherfuckers. First, they have the whole Starfleet thing from a long time ago before the bird. These motherfuckers. And now they're coming back with this bullshit, and they're standing in front of them. Shoot them!
Talk about an epic miscommunication fumble.
Seriously.
And why is there always a cliff?
There's
I
always
know.
a cliff.
At some point, you're going to, it may take a while, but at some point, you're going to find a cliff.
Oh my God. The best part was when Tilly was like, is this a chase? Are you in the middle of a chase?
I know, that was funny.
Oh, no, everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Just negotiating.
Which means they do that often.
I really liked how the whole crew worked together to figure this out. I mean, it wasn't just like,
it was nice.
Burnham going, oh, I know what the problem is. It's like everyone contributed to the...
I love how fast they worked too. They were quick on the draw, and then they had the dots ready. I mean, and then the dots, so many dots just popped right out. And
I know.
dilithium refill. This is awesome.
Dad didn't call you. He didn't call you. Get out. No. He wasn't talking. And remove those.
Our dot's head is getting bigger.
Well, he saw himself in the movie, and he now he thinks he's a star.
He's got a bigger head now. I mean,
Patrick,
it physically is like an inch bigger.
Do you have mirrored Ray-Bans in your quarters? Because I think the Dot found it. It has the mirrored ones on. You just had regular sunglasses. Now it's got mirrored Ray-Bans on. I told it to get out, and it snapped its finger in a Z formation and left.
Well, it's a queen.
Oh my God. Yeah, but it was cool. Like you said, I love the fact that how the crew has bonded together and how quickly they were able to bounce ideas and off of one another's head and to come up with a quick solution. And the fact that Michael has probably done this so often is that she's like you said, is this a chase? Are you guys being chased again?
No chase. Everything's fine.
We swear.
We're just trying to solve this problem. That's all.
I love though when they actually got back on Book's ship and they transported into the
little blink blink.
Yeah, and then Book just like strokes Grudge.
Like, I got my cat right. I'm
He's just like, haha, fuck you. This is Grudge. This is
my pet, and I love it. Yeah,
that was funny. It just like a proud cat person would.
Yeah. Yep.
He's like, this is my queen.
Yeah. And speaking of book, I loved how he said, not every moment is a victory. I thought that was really good foreshadowing for the rest of the episode.
It was. That's a really good pickup, Heather. Nice
Totally.
pickup.
The effects, guys. Star Trek
Oh my gosh.
Discovery effects are still on fucking top. It is so good looking, these shots.
It is.
Even the little shot, I think it was a little bit over the top where Bookship just flies out of the cargo bay and does its little U-turn, but it does a fucking transformer move in the middle of the U-turn. I think they were showing off just a tiny bit, but it looks so fucking cool. And then all those satellites and then all the effects work, they have gone next level again.
Oh my God.
I mean,
Well,
this is the best effects in a sci-fi show right now.
If you watched the Ready Room for season 4, they have built an entire AR wall.
Yeah. Oh, no, we haven't even
So
gotten to the
they're-
AR wall yet.
That was
they're
so cool.
using the AR wall for the entire shot. I mean, it's just like, it's ridiculous.
It's amazing.
so incredible.
It's amazing the way they did that. If you guys out there haven't watched the after show with Will Wheaton, you need to see the technology they use to bring this together.
It's the state of the art for effects work right now.
Is.
And
They
I think
poured
we
a lot of
first
money in
saw
it.
this in The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Because they had they call it the volume over there. And it's just a ginormous LED screen panels behind everybody. And it just displays an image. But when you point the camera at it, it looks
It moves.
authentic and real to the camera. And when the camera moves, it visually translates so the parallax happens correctly for the camera image. So it looks a little weird when you watch the behind the scenes and they're looking at this thing. They got a little wand and everything. But it calculates what the image is supposed to look like for just the camera at that angle. Because it doesn't have to animate the entire friggin' back wall to get the shot. It just has to do the part the camera can see. So that saves a little bit on processing power and all that. But it
makes
fascinating.
hologram goldfish look so real that Grudge ate one.
Oh, yeah. No, it says, and I love that behind the scenes, they actually are calling this the holodeck. I think that's fucking on point.
Right.
It's before, when you look at special effects and computer animation, you could always tell like the green screen. Oh yeah, okay, that's a green screen, or or that's computer animated. But it's getting so good that it's hard like hell to pick out what's computer animated and what's not.
I'm like, because I've seen some of the behind the scenes imagery, and I'm like, okay, I know this scene is definitely the AR wall. It's just like, this is definitely, and then it's like, but I didn't realize that scene was. I didn't realize that scene was. They are using the hell out of this thing in the right places, and that's so seamless that we're so new to it that either we can't see the effect or it's done so well we can't see the effect, because it's really dang cool. And you're so caught up in the story and the style that they're presenting to you. It doesn't matter because it looks so good.
So just getting technical real quick, they can only shoot that screen from far away, like a wide shot, because if they did it close up, then you would see the lines in the TV, because you can't shoot a TV or a screen without getting the messy, the messed up lines.
On the
Depends on how,
they gotta sync the hertz.
I wonder how much you can push that. That's a good question.
If you sync the hertz, you won't see the lines, the scan lines, because you're right, Heather. Most of the time, if you wind up filming another screen, you will get the scan lines. But if they can sync up the hertz,
if the camera's in sync, that's one thing.
So
and you can't get close enough to see the pixels until you get to a certain point to see the pixels. And the exposure levels are just right for the camera. So it doesn't look like it's fake to the camera. And they're doing stuff on space stations and off worlds, and it's a fantasy. So it looks so good to the camera. It's very interesting. I wonder the places where you can't push this technology as far, because it's very interesting because they can do so much with lighting and synchronize the way things look. So it looks so much more real because the actual light from the imagery is on the person's face, versus when you had to do it with a green screen, you had to completely replace the background and the background wasn't showing the actual colors onto your actor. It was just, you were getting so much green in the background, they would get reflected green on their face, and you had to compensate for that electronically when you post it together. So this technology is so cool and such a forward step for certain things, and it's just brand new. They're still figuring stuff out with this thing, and it's amazing where they're at right now with it.
I really love it when our engineer gets a chubby talking about the engineering stuff. I think it's awesome. Patrick, let's jump into the next scene before Section 31 has to clean up Rocky again.
Okay.
Oh, real quick though, the opening sequence, did that seem faster to you guys?
Yeah, it was. It was a lot faster.
It was faster. Okay, because it felt faster, but it was still cool. I like the amount of movement into it, and there's new images. The new images in it. You can see a little bit of warping in it, which has to do with something we haven't quite talked about yet.
Okay, Act 2 Kaminar, Quajon, and Deep Space Repair Beta 6. Which yellow brick road do we go down? On Kaminar, the council meets, discussing the possibility of another burn, but since Sukal's on Kaminar, it's not going to happen. The Ba'ul and the Kelpians are working together now, pondering their place in the universe. Do we honor our interconnection, or do we curl inward? Back on Discovery, Book wants to attend Leto's Ikuzen ceremony on Quajon, but Starfleet Academy is reopening after 125 years. Growly face equals 11. Michael gives a rousing speech inducting the cadets into the Academy. No longer cloaked, 59 new member worlds from the 38 they had before. The Federation president, Laura Rillick, she is part Cardassian, part Bajoran, and part human. What a mess! We are rebuilding the Federation in Starfleet, and we're going to embrace the mission of scientific discovery again. Introducing the Archer Space Dock. Woo, woo, woo. Michael and Tilly Kiki, did you know that there are people out there who don't have to put up with space-time shenanigans? I bet they sleep great. Good for them. Michael is summoned by the Admiral. Commander Nahlas from DS Repair Beta 6 is in trouble. No communication with the station. Discovery is sent to help. The president wants to join Burnham. Burnham states protocols, President. The president doesn't need your permission to hop on board. The Admiral heads off to dinner with his family, who he got back. Yes. Discovery, Black Alert, jumps to the DS station. The station is spinning out of control.
That was a lot of info in the first off. It's nice to see that the Admiral actually had a smile on his face this time because they showed his family and he was...
Well, he got some.
You're right. Oh,
He was
yeah. That's
happy,
why he's
yeah.
so happy looking. I thought he was just still like happy to be back on Star Trek. I thought
No.
that was really cool. I'm still, and that was a big moment for me when we were at the convention this year. For us who got to go to the convention, Oded Fair.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oded was there, and the guy's got so much charisma in person. He's one of those actors that you just, he's just as good as you imagine him to be.
And sexy as fuck.
I mean, I'll even admit that the dude's kind of sexy. I mean, damn. But not that I'm into him. He's just fucking charismatic as hell. So yeah, it was cool to see him again. I don't even know what else I'm talking about. I'm just so distracted by it now. God, I think I got a crush.
Oh, he's awesome. And everything he's done, like from The Mummy to Juice Bigelow, Male Gigolo to all kinds of stuff.
I'm sorry, what was the name of that again?
Yeah, I'm not going to say it again
Juice
because
Bigelow,
that's what
Juice
I just...
Bigelow.
Well, whatever. He's got the juice.
He's got some juice, yeah.
You like the juice, huh? Okay, so I thought it was kind of interesting. And the fact that the president, when I first saw the president, and it was confirmed on the show, but I didn't know just how much she was mixed with. And it's like, she looks like she was part Kardashian and part Bajoran when I looked at it. And it's like, because you can faintly see the facial things.
I didn't see the nose
and
ridges.
With the nose ridges. It's like, wow, but I was looking for the neck. And it says, where's the neck? Where's the stressed out neck? I don't see.
Where's the beef?
But on the after show, they confirmed she's a blend of three human Kardashians and Bajorans. So that was interesting on that lineage. They showed that the universe is getting together. The racial divide is dropping. She was a perfect example of that. And she's smart.
Yeah.
I think we're overlooking something major. What was that a Tribble that went across the deck?
Tribble went down the hallway.
One of our Tribbles made it on TV. Heather, it shows that your engineering and your experiment on those things was cool because he had like a little backpack and everything. He was like,
he had his own little personal teleporter.
That was awesome.
So it was pretty cool. So now it just wants food and it just automatically goes there. So I think it was cool.
I mean, we've joked about our Tribbles on the ship. I've got some engineering Tribbles, but no, it's fucking canon. There are Tribbles in Starfleet.
It's canon.
Now, I need to tell you guys that are our Patreon people, see, your money went to a good cause because we spayed and neutered the Tribbles and then we're able to train them. And now they're out there.
1,000 years later in the future.
Yeah, they're not reproducing willy-nilly anymore. They're out there. So thank you, our Patreon people.
Or Willie Nelson.
Hats off to, thank you. Well, it looked like his beard, but that's okay. But that's pretty cool. It was. Thank you for bringing that up because I almost slipped that point.
And if you missed that part, this is the scene where they're talking about her growly face in the 11s.
Yeah, and you do see Michael turns and looks at it on the floor as it goes by and she kind of smiles.
She's so cute.
Yes,
I love that though. He's like, you have a growly face. And she's like, I don't have a growly face. He's like, yeah, you have an 11 between your eyebrows. She's like, what?
I never heard it mentioned that way in 11. That's kind of funny.
Well, their conversation, she was sort of like pissed because Book, paraphrasing, of course, Book's like, you were lucky. And Michael's like, dude, I got skills.
I know, but he's kind of right.
Yeah, it's luck versus being ready. And he's like, dude, we were not ready for that.
Yeah.
No. And as Heather knows from being in as a dealer, luck is a slut.
Be a lady tonight.
No, luck is a slut. You don't know who she's
Yeah.
going to sleep with. She'd be with you 1 second and jump in someone else's bed, and then every hand you have, you lose.
Why she got to be a she?
Yeah, well, maybe it's a he for you.
Good point. He's got a
Then
point there.
Okay, let me rephrase it. Luck, they are a slut.
There you go.
I just got a picture of RuPaul dressed up as Lady Luck.
That would be pretty wild.
Yeah.
You can see when they lose at the table, sashay away.
This is cool though. Starfleet Academy, the new Academy of Cadets in 125 years.
So cool.
Yeah, that was nice.
And
to see.
it gives me insight into what they're thinking about for the new Starfleet Academy show. I'm wondering, are they going to base it off of this timeline versus the old school? I think maybe this is like, this could be where we're getting the Academy things from.
They might do that
That would
because
be a
they don't
good
have
idea.
to. They don't have to follow canon per se.
And it's all new again.
Yeah, that's a really good thought. All right, Pat.
Interesting.
Go ahead. Let's jump to the next section.
Okay, Act 3. Leto becomes a man. How sappy. Things get squiddled and first away missions. Oh my. On Quajon, Book and his brother Kaim and their nephew Leto are in the forest for his Aiku Zen ceremony. The world root, it is our heart. The sap of the root and the blood of your family. Wear this and carry us and Quajon with you always. Suddenly the birds are spooked. Book goes back to his ship to try and figure out why. Back on Discovery, there's a distress call from DS Repair Beta 6. Burnham sees extreme lensing, which indicates a gravitational distortion. It's a shit show. That means bad in Earth language. Squiddled is an accosonomic word for destroyed beyond repair, which is kind of like FUBAR, fucked up beyond all repair. Adira goes on their first away mission and with Tilly, and they try to repair the DS station Q nodes. Q makes a supportive appearance. I'm sorry, Gray, not Q. Gray makes a supportive appearance. Locked and loaded, signed, sealed, and delivered.
QAnon shows up.
Welcome to our gravity nightmare. We are upside down or downside up. Nahlas is a little bossy. All thrusters are firing. Incoming debris, frozen methane, cow farts. External shield, extend shields over the station. It's a massive field. The crew can't beam back. There's too much interference. Reprogram the escape pods to return. Nahlas starts to panic. Burnham takes a worker bee to clear the debris. President questions her decision. A question doesn't imply questioning, Captain.
Okay, there's a lot in this. Yeah. Let's start at Quajon because that's where the act started. They were feeling that old wood.
Well, you got to feel wood, right?
I thought that was a normal, morning type of, event.
They get the wood in the morning.
Yeah, morning wood.
Yeah.
Well, I would feel Caim any day of the week.
Yeah, it was a touching thing with the little boy.
Oh, God.
Leto.
Yeah.
This was a coming of age moment, guys. We're talking about wood here. And that's, wait a minute. Let me think about that a second.
Didn't you like how I phrased that? Leto becomes a man. How sappy. Because they put the sap from the world root into his little thing.
Yeah. It was kind of a neat connect with the planet moment, and that was kind of cool. And I don't know,
it ties into their empathic abilities with the planet.
Yeah. No, I was digging all of that stuff, but it's at the same time, shit happens at the end of this episode, and I'm like, none of this shit matters now.
No, it matters because they had this emotional, touching moment on the planet just so it would hurt more later on in the episode.
That way they did that trick
That's
to me
why
again.
they did that.
Gosh, dang it, they did that again. Okay, I see what's going on.
They wanted you to feel something.
All I know is the birds were really pissed at the end of that
I'd like
scene.
to feel something.
Morning wood.
Well, it's just like they say,
Caim, baby.
Animals always sense when something's happening. And they take off.
They died.
They're like, they didn't just sense when something was happening. Birds were fucking upset.
Yeah, they were out of there.
The birds knew the cows were farting.
Yeah, they knew something was coming. And they say that cats can sense an earthquake before anyone else, but they never warn us because they're assholes.
They were just sitting there in the living room the other day, and we had a little earthquake. The cats did nothing. It started to shake like crazy. Like, oh shit, there's a quake. Cats said no fucking. They're assholes. They're like, yeah, whatever.
The cats are like, you can get squiddled. I don't care.
It's like we have reflexes. We can dodge debris.
The cats have been like, yeah, we've been expecting this for hours. Why do you think we're sitting here?
Right.
They're like, we're not upside down, we're downside up.
Yeah, but the thing that happens when he's flying and he sees a distortion field that's coming at him, and you can see whenever you have something massive, it's a freeze effect, and it happens to almost everybody. When something that comes, your brain, when it hasn't seen anything before like it, is trying to process what it's seeing.
It's like, oh, that's different.
So it's looking at it, so what the hell is that? Rather than reacting, your brain is like frozen because it's trying to figure out. We don't have this cataloged in our head.
It's literally the spinning wheel on your head thing that they do in the memes. Yeah,
exactly. It's like having an Apple product and you're trying to reload the page.
The beach ball just showed up. Yeah,
the spinning rainbow of death. And he's looking at it, he's like, what the hell is, and he's trying to rationalize what it is, but damn, that's a tough little ship he has.
I think you kind of jumped a little.
That was the next section. The other section, yeah. He hasn't flown around in it yet. They're just seeing the birds.
Sorry, yeah, he's seeing the birds, and he tell him, look, you guys go to a place. I'm going to go fly up and take a look at it. And everything I just said before, just totally disregard it.
So meanwhile, on this crazy ass space station that they can't fly straight.
Oh, yeah.
I like they replay the image and Burnham's like, what's that thing in the corner that we didn't see because it was cropped out before? It was cropped out on the holo image, but on the big screen, they could see everything. See, there's a good reason to have 2D technology on starships.
Because you could see the cow farts.
Yeah, well, you could see the extreme lensing, and Tilly was like right away, like, oh, that's a 2 pi steradian solid angle. And of course, in Federation Standard, it was like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, really. Dumb it down for the rest of us.
I mean, that was like, I think that was even more mathy than math.
I like how when Tilly and Adira get on the DS station, Nahlis is like, this is my station. We go into it my way. And
it's
then,
like, don't touch that.
Right. But then Adira's like, I'm the only one who can reprogram those pods to come back. And he's like, okay, totally defeated.
Well, I like this scene because the dude was being a little bit of a dick about his equipment.
Yeah, he was.
But, especially because it's broken and he's like, don't touch it. I mean, it's fucking broken, dude. Let him fucking, what are they going to do? Make it worse? But Tilly's like, lets him quote unquote take the lead and make him feel like he's in charge. Tilly does that thing.
Guess.
Yeah. So I like that about Tilly.
The one thing I really loved also was the interplay between Denver and I'm going to mess up her name. Denver and yeah, thank you. I love the interplay because it's like, can you match the spin? It's like, I don't know, can she? That little thing they did back and forth.
She's like, bitch, please.
It's like you can see the friendship has gone up amongst the crew members, and they feel like a team that's been working for a while together.
I think Owo and Detmer might be like
couple.
Yeah,
I hope so.
And Detmer's just like, oh, I think that's good enough for you. It's just like
that would be cool if
the interplay was just funny.
It was.
Yeah.
I liked it. And she was able to spin. Go ahead, Heather. I'm sorry.
Yeah. She was able to spin. They danced together. I loved Adira's hair. I loved their hair.
Oh, yeah. And the scene they came out and she's still having conversations with Invisible Boy. Gray. Thank you. God, why did I forget Gray's name? That's so bad. Sorry, Gray. They're just having this conversation about how nervous they are. And I was like, well, but realizing that, well, they made you an ensign. That's kind of, that's kind of supportive. And then at the same time, then they get the chance to talk. She's got the same problem Tilly does. She can't shut up.
I love that.
And we find out that Gray may incorporate.
Yeah, and we saw the
censored by Section 31.
Oh no, he showed up in my room.
Yeah. We don't see that in this episode yet.
Oh, thank you so much. Just go back to engineering then. Thank you. Section 31 came and looked at me because you know how I sit and do this broadcast. He looked down at my crotch and goes, yeah, this is not the same. And he went back over to where you are.
He went back to find his microscope and tweezers.
So, no, I don't think so, because he's going to go to your quarters then. See, there's an advantage of being a grower, not a shower. He left me alone, thank goodness. Okay.
But Section 31 aside, it's cool to see things are going to be happening with Adira. And things are happening. It's neat to see that. I mean, we have had a little bit. I mean, this is only 5 months within the realm of this show, but Adira is the actor who plays them is aging, and we can see there's a little bit of an age difference, and I like that. I think that's cool. Heather mentioned the hair. I think the face is a little different. I'm enjoying the grow up of a young character on screen.
It was funny when she's like, locked and loaded. Signed, sealed, delivered. I'm just going to shut up now.
Yeah.
That was excitement
It was
of a youth.
It was exactly the same kind of thing. Tilly was like, she's so nervous she can't shut up kind of thing. Yeah.
That was nice. The excitement of a teenage going away on his first mission. I think it was pretty cool. I'm on a mission. Yay.
It doesn't just happen to Tilly. It's a thing with ensigns in general.
Oh yeah, with everybody. That was a nice part. And what got me also is when they beamed aboard and then they were all on the ceiling. And it's like, okay, they compensated for the direction of the
Welcome
gravity
to my
pull.
gravity nightmare. I'm getting y'all Alice Cooper vibes. Welcome to my nightmare.
I liked how
cool.
descriptive the dude was about how fucked up shit was. He's like, my engineer says it's a shit show. That thing's fucking squiddled. Wait, I need help.
Did you guys notice Morn was on the ship? Morn was like behind him
Twice.
Yeah,
Twice.
Lutheran. What are they called? Lutheran, Lathran.
Lutherans a religion.
Yeah. I know that's not right. What the hell is Morn? It's a Morn species, but there's a name that I can't get it.
I will look it up.
He's a Lutheran. He's a Lutheran. Lurian.
Lurian. That's what it was.
So he's a Lurian. But there was a Lurian there. And you can see, just like Norm, he barely spoke.
Norm is on Cheers.
That's what I just said. He barely spoke. And he just had the look on his face. It's like, whoa, he looked like Beaker. Whoa.
Yeah.
So that was pretty wild.
And then there's a huge amount of troubleshooting. They got to extend the shields over the station. And now we're at the point where we've taken this journey with this starship over 1,000 years into the future. And then it got refitted with reprogrammable matter and all this other cool shit. But it's got limits. I mean, you can't extend the shields around an entire space station and keep them there for infinite time. There's a time limit to this. Now it's like they've got 15 minutes. It's like shit's falling apart. The Heisenberg compensator stopped working. And no, we're not talking about Breaking Bad. I was like, Breaking Bad? What? Oh, that's a good show. Oh, wait, we're talking about Star Trek. That's a transporter thingy, right?
I don't know that we can call that character Morn because apparently in DS9, season 6, episode 12, Morn was reported killed in an ion storm.
That was a good episode.
So
that's the one where everybody thought he was dead and they had a funeral and turned out he was just fine. Wasn't that one? Yeah.
And that was in 2375, apparently. No, I think that was 2375?
I mean, it obviously wasn't Morn because he wasn't seated at a bar drinking all day.
You're right. It was Morn Jr.
Like Norm.
It was probably Norm, yeah.
But I like that it was frozen methane. I mean, cow farts in space. Come on, people. That's funny.
Well, it kind of was. So, but they had the little stuff happening, and it was peppering their shields. And they
I'm never going to think about frozen methane the same ever again.
No. So it was definitely interesting to see them trying to save the ship, trying to get the hell out of there. And you're going to have to stop me, Patrick, because the episodes are blended together in my head. So I don't want to wind up skipping to next week's.
Okay, before we jump to the next section, the dots can't move the debris that's jamming this escape pod thing.
Not in time.
No, the dots just refilled entire planets full of dilithium and satellites in a blink of an eye and saved the day while Burnham and Book were running for their lives, being hunted by Monarch shooting phasers at them because of their cat. But these dots can't unjam a little simple thing really quick. I'm like, what is the difference here? I mean, they're two different tasks entirely. But the dots just can't go get this debris out of the way. They have to come out with the worker bee.
Well, they're Hollywood now, so they're union. They're not going to go
They said this isn't it. They wanted too much money, so they wrote they wrote the dots out of this section of the ship.
Seriously,
okay, yeah.
It's like, where's our oil bath jacuzzi? We're not going to do it unless we get this after the mission.
Okay, I could take that from point of view because I can understand the whole money situation with the dots. I've been reading the These Are the Voyages books that you mentioned way back at our podcast.
They're good, aren't they?
It's really good. I'm not speeding through them. I'm like getting a little bit every day, and I'm into the second season. And
it's good.
Right when Paramount is taking over and the money starts to get pinched, and it's interesting to hearing the characters get requests for money. The stars of the show want more things here, more things there, and the egos involved. And it's just kind of funny to look at that and laugh at our favorite actors from the age of the 60s in that point of view.
It's kind of neat because you get a chance to see what it gives a deeper understanding of the show when you see it on TV, because you know all the stuff that was involved in order to get it on there.
And all the things that they actually just, all the stuff they wrote out because it's like, that's too expensive. We're not going to do that.
Exactly.
This completely explains these dots not being able to run in quickly and take care of this problem with this escape pod. Okay, I'm good.
It was pretty. Okay, Pat, next.
Act 4. Don't stay for me, Argentina. Oh, I mean Kaminar. 25% is good. Jiffy Pop Planets. Back on Kaminar, Sukal tells Saru he knows he wants to go back to Discovery. Saru reminds him that he made a promise to take care of him. There will always be those who fear what they do not understand. Sukal tells him, I'm safe, I am loved, I am happy. Go be with your friends. Balance is possible, is it not? Back on Discovery, frozen methane continues to bombard the ship and the station. Burnham goes out to remove the debris from the escape pod, and the craft is hit with a massive chunk of cow fart. Michael's EV suit immediately deploys, saving her from freezing in the vacuum of space. 25% is all we have? Okay, that's good. Nala freaks out and pulls a gun on Tilly. The president talks him off a ledge. The escape pod is free, the DS crew gets on. Adira, Tilly, and Nala stay behind and wait for the next trip. Back on Bookship, he can't determine what freaked out the birds. All of a sudden, the moon in front of him is destroyed, and the debris hits his ship, knocking him unconscious.
It turns out the birds were watching Star Trek Discovery on their Netflix subscription, and then it got canceled and moved to Paramount Plus, but is not available yet until next year. That's what pissed the birds off.
I thought Alfred Hitchcock was directing them.
In all seriousness, though, this is the section where Book is flying up in the ship, and then he sees the enemy of this whole thing devour a fucking moon right before him. Yeah. Oh, my God. That was a crazy moment.
Everything I said in the last section, just remember and apply it to this section.
Copy and paste right here. Yeah.
So I just did. So it was pretty wild. And I think the actor who plays the kid with Saru, what's his name?
Sukal.
Oh, Sukal. Oh, I love
Such
that.
a good acting.
I love the scene. It was so nicely done. It gives you the exposition of what's going on in the world of Star Trek at this moment in time, because it's 5 months later and they're talking about being away from it all. But they're also talking about being balanced. They're talking about all this stuff happening on Kaminar. They're talking about the being afraid versus being not afraid and doing things even though you don't understand. Being afraid of what you don't understand, there's always going to be people that do that, but you don't have to be afraid. You can do things. It's okay to do things.
And Sukal is played by Bill Irwin, and little trivia. Bill Irwin's father was an aerospace engineer.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was such a good, because his whole voice is like, you don't have to worry. I'm loved. I have friends now.
He's like, I'm good. I've got family. He's got,
it's like,
you're like the father I never knew. You're my first actual true friend, but I have more friends now and I have more family. I mean, he's really adapted in this quick amount of time he's been on this planet. I think it's beautiful.
And his voice just was, his whole voice when he says, and I am loved. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I like the fact, too, that they made the statement that there will always be those who fear what they do not understand.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of brings it into modern times and what the world is going through.
But he says balance is possible, is it not? And yes, it is possible, damn it, okay?
Unless you're a moron.
Well, I mean, it is. I mean, that's how frustrating it is when you don't have balance, but it is possible. I mean, it is possible, but we're not balanced here. Come on, guys.
The one thing that I'm going to jump a little bit around is that I had to agree
jump
with
the
president is when Michael wanted to go in the EV thing to go in the craft from the last section on there. And she's like, are you sure that's the right decision? She wasn't questioning Michael's decision. She was basically saying that you're the most experienced, you're the ship's captain. Is it right for you to go out there and risk your life?
This was actually a really good question.
It was.
Yeah.
Because think about it. There are only so many people, I mean, that can run the worker bee, that EV suited worker bee unit thing. It's not a usual thing. There are only so many people that have so much experience on it. She is definitely, no question about it, logically the choice for the most experienced person to be running this thing. But she's also the captain.
Exactly.
But the president makes the statement when she wants to come on to Discovery, and Michael's like, well, protocols. And the president's like, well, I wouldn't ask anyone to do something that I'm not prepared to do.
That's a good point.
In the same vein, Michael is doing that exact thing. She wouldn't ask anyone else to do this if she wouldn't do it herself.
That's a good catch there, Pat.
And it's very interesting. At what point does this become the Kobayashi Maru question?
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting, this episode. You can examine it from that point of view.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, it is, but that's the next section.
Who is Michael's number one right now? Who would take over?
It's not Saru yet because Saru's not aboard.
Tilly still.
Yeah, it would be
Tilly.
It would be Tilly? Okay.
Yeah.
I know that when we have our On Our Way mission, I never send you guys when it's dangerous. I send expendables.
Well, that's what the red shirts are here for.
But I hope
Don't let
they don't
them hear me
listen
say
to
that.
this.
Don't let them hear me say I didn't say that. No.
Is that why
I'm joking.
Patrick's wearing
That's
a red
joke.
shirt?
Yeah, I really hope that they don't listen to it. I put Patrick in a red shirt for a number of reasons. But yeah, that's why I don't want you guys. You guys, I think, are the best in the fleet. I don't want to lose you guys to some random flower that was horny. So, no.
Yay!
I was
Feed
watching.
Moses.
Yeah, feed me, sucker. I was watching on Disney Plus, another network. Oh my God, they were doing a documentary on the actual astronauts in the space station, and there was a moment where these two astronauts have rehearsed this repair on this piece of equipment, the scientific instrument that they've been working for over a decade to get up there, and they had to do some maintenance on it. It's up there, and they had to fix something with it. They've been practicing working on doing this fix for so long, and then the schedules got fucked up, and then COVID happened, and you got separated crew members. That one crew member was up and already and could do some of this work, but the other crew member was not. But he was also trained on, if not trained more, on some of the same procedures. So these astronauts were cross-trained, and that's one thing we're not seeing. Yeah, you have to be cross-trained on these things to be able to anticipate and practice any kind of failures ahead of time and be able to anticipate them and correct for them. And this is real life. This is not science fiction. This is real fucking life.
Yep.
And I think it's interesting. They had a moment where the scientist in charge was like, wait, you're going to switch? Because NASA was like, well, this guy's been doing this work all this time. Let's let the other guy come in and get some hand time on this. And he's like, whoa. You're going to put the rookie in on the number one position? And that really pissed off the scientists because this thing has been up there, for a decade, and they're getting great science on it and all this and that. And he's like, you're going to change it on like night before? Like who's going to do what? And they're like, no, we've cross-trained on this. It's okay.
It's the same thing.
So hand time, is that like hand job?
Exactly.
Close.
Yeah.
It's the same thing in the military. When you have a specialized team that's going out, everybody on that team knows the other person's job. They may not be as proficient, but they know enough to get the mission done. And so you always have people that understand they could step in and take over.
And it's the same thing in theaters. You have actors that are understudies that study somebody else's part in case that person gets sick and you've got to stand in for them.
Yep.
Or in the crew, when I worked in a theatrical program, I was initially trained on the spotlights. Even though I wanted to do the audio stuff, I'm an audio guy naturally. Eventually, I did get into the audio segment of that show and was running the audio board for a good middle of the season. But they could put me back on spotlight if they needed somebody, if somebody got sick or whatever, because I was familiar with running that process. So it's cross training.
My cousin was in Broadway. He understudied 6 different roles. So like he had to know 6 different parts, and you have to keep those straight in your head. I mean, that's like ridiculously crazy. So he could have gone on for any of those 6 roles at any given time.
So it's interesting to look at it on the Star Trek point of view. Captain Burnham has all the training, the most training. She's got the most experience in this EV suit operation. She can do this in a blink of an eye, in a heartbeat, and she can fix that.
Well, because her and Book play nookie in the EV suits.
They like to play with the worker bee.
Hiding the sausage.
But the president's like, are you sure you're supposed to be the right person doing this?
Yeah, but she brought up, as much as I would like to be behind our main characters, I thought she brought up a really valid point. And when that thing hit the worker bee and she went spinning and her braids went everywhere
and everything went into slow motion. Oh my God.
Like, yep, that's the reason why.
Yeah. And they had the montage reaction shot, and they did it twice in this episode. The first point was when the worker bee got hit and we lose the atmosphere. And it takes a friggin' astronomical amount of time for the backup system to switch in and put her back in an EV suit. But within that amount of time, we get the reaction shots of every actor reacting to what's going on. And then the event happens, then the sound kicks back in, and it's like, boom, we're back in the action. It was like, oh, wow, big moment of stress. But that happens again towards the end of the episode, too.
It was pretty cool. And to see the rescue happen when she clears it for everyone to go in there. And just like a commanding officer, you don't get in there. I'm the officer. I'm going going first. No, fuck that shit. You get your crew out. Your main responsibility is your people.
Yeah.
I like that. I had some initial problems with the commander. What was his name? Nala?
Yeah.
Nalas. But the fucker pulls a phaser on Tilly. That's fucked up, dude. But
Yeah.
I see where he's coming from because he's like, no, this is my responsibility. These are my people.
Yeah.
And this is my equipment. He was doing that too. This is all him. It's all my responsibility. But at the same time, at the end, he's like, okay, well, no, you guys go first. I'll wait for the second ride.
Yeah. That guy sort of pissed me off a bit.
A little bit, but at the same time, when it came down to the really, I mean, there are some moments it came down to, but when it came down to this particular moment, he did the right thing.
He was
Yeah.
loyal to his crew. So I'll give him that, and Michael, despite the objection, was able to remove the thing and make it back on board. So is there anything we're forgetting in this section, Pat?
Only I'm sorry, I'm not Pat. He's Pat. I'm Rocky.
Yeah.
Sorry, I spoke
That's
before
okay.
you, Captain, in number one. The moment where Book is flying up through the birds and seeing the moon get devoured, and he gets tossed, and he does shout out the name of was it his brother, cousin? What?
Kaim.
Yeah. He yells out at the moment, but he's tossed, like violently tossed out of his chair.
Like a salad.
Where is his seatbelt?
I know. No seatbelts.
No
Yes.
seatbelt.
There's
If he
only
was
a handful
wearing
of
his
shows
seatbelt,
where
it
he
wouldn't
would
have been
fine.
as, he might have some like neck injury, but he'd still be like not tossed.
Too much faith in the inertial dampeners.
Yeah.
I was going to say, isn't that what the inertial dampeners are for? To keep you from...
Even in a Transformer spaceship like his, he needs seatbelts.
There's a
Seatbelts are
reason
lost technology.
why that happens, because the inertial dampeners do keep gravity going, but when you have a massive shock that it doesn't expect, the dampeners can't compensate fast enough to keep you rooted.
I mean, they can only compensate so much. They probably were compensating quite a bit right there. Otherwise, he'd turn into a bunch of jelly.
Yeah, basically it would be a skin bag with no bones. So is anything else we forgot in this section there, Pat?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
All right, let's go under your head. What's the next section?
Okay, Act 5. She came in like a wrecking ball, shattering a world. Quajon is gone, back on the DS station. Sleep, tea, and a bubble bath. The escape pod makes it to the docking bay, only to be hit by debris just as Discovery is about to jump. Dr. Culber makes haste to the shuttle bay. Not everyone made it back alive. The president reminds Michael that 9 get to go home. It never gets easier. The Kobayashi Maru. They have a heart-to-heart. Michael realizes that the president's not there to tick a box. There is a very fine line between a pendulum and a wrecking ball. Commanding from a place of personal need puts others in harm's way. Michael isn't getting what the president's laying down. Book's ship arrives on autopilot. Something's wrong. They all see the planet breaking apart. Quajon is no more. Leto and Kaim, gone.
And now that's the end of the first episode, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Okay. The one thing that I clued on when medical makes it over to the shuttlecraft, they check to see he's alive, despite that the medical thing has big words on either side of him. Deceased, deceased, deceased. Well, maybe it's wrong.
It should have said he's dead, Jim.
I
Right.
So
That would have been hysterical.
That would have been.
You felt kind of sad for him, but because it's a loss of life, but not enough. He didn't endear me enough to be like, really, oh, man.
I want to know how Culber all of a sudden got Superman strength, because Tilly's trying to lift that piece of debris.
Have you seen him? Oh my God.
Yeah, he comes over and he's
ripped.
just like, slip,
Dude.
He's
saw
a
that, right?
fucking superhero even more than he was last year. I mean, God, look at the guy.
That guy works out.
Yeah, he does
looks
a lot.
Good.
Yeah,
He
Wilson's
does a
got a
lot.
body to die for, that's for sure.
Yeah, he
Oh my
really
God,
does. When he sit there and he posts his thirst traps on Twitter, anybody, regardless of your sexual orientation, will look at him and go, "Oh, daddy."
It was like, damn.
You should see his hot gay brother, too.
He's got a brother? Oh my God.
Yeah. He's got a brother who's gay, too.
Oh, really?
I think there's a website for that.
Yeah, Patrick just wants a meat sandwich. But that
I mean,
You
Wilson's more, I never mind.
You wouldn't want to do two at once?
I mean, come on.
he's
It's
a
also
friend.
Threesome.
You perverts. He's also a fucking great actor. Can you see the empathy
is.
involved in all of this?
Yeah, he is.
He
yeah,
feels
empathy.
the pain of the death in these scenes. It's horrible. He's like, oh, he couldn't save that one either. It sucks.
Yeah, he does a really phenomenal job as an actor. I will say that.
It's great.
So
I think him and Burnham have that in common, where they have that need to save everyone.
Yeah.
Well, that's his job. I mean, he's a fucking doctor.
He wants to save
That's
At
everyone.
the same time, he's also a shrink. Oh, or is that, I think that's the next episode, wasn't it?
Censored by Section 31.
I mean, something was shrinking, but I don't know what it was. It
might have been his penis in the cold vacuum of space.
It definitely wasn't.
That only grows.
No, that's a grower.
Yeah,
well, you
In the cold vacuum of space, it ain't.
You get with Rocky when it's really cold, he just gets normal length. So there's that. But I love the real talk.
Like, I'm just curious how you know how big Rocky's member is.
Because the Dot keeps coming over here and bragging.
Okay.
The Dot is always he reports to me on every. I won't
Showing
tell you about
pictures. And,
I won't tell you that the Dot comes in and talks about how the science officer is really bendy, and it's like, how do you know this? So it's like, what is she doing to be? Never mind, just get out of the room. So, and the Dot's explaining how most of Patrick's chairs have this protrusion in the center of it. It's like, and it's trying to figure out what's it for. And I said, go ask him. Don't leave me alone. But the real talk, I love the real talk between the president and Michael.
The Rok-Tahk.
Yeah, the real talk between the president and Michael,
Okay.
I thought was awesome.
This was the big part of the whole episode. I remember.
Yeah.
This is the Kobayashi Maru segment.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know what the Kobayashi Maru is, it's a simulation, a test where a Starfleet officer or cadet tries to learn and pass. It's a no-win scenario. You can't pass this test. There's no way to win.
Or you can if you're Kirk.
No, well, that's
because
if you
Kirk
cheat.
cheated.
But that's not the way to win either. So it's a character test, basically. It teaches you, there are things you're going to have to make decisions for that none of them are good situations. There's not a good solution.
Basically, it's teaching failure. That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to teach failure and loss.
Yeah.
And to accept those outcomes regardless.
And in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, we see Captain Kirk had taken this test. And he literally, I guess we see it in one of the JJ movies where he actually took the test and fucking hacked the computer and won the test. He actually beat the Kobayashi Maru. And they gave him a accommodation for it because it was out of the box thinking, I believe.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to win this test. It's a test of character. It's not a test you pass.
No, they actually were going to fail him out of Starfleet Academy because he cheated.
Well, I think they deliberated a bit on it because he did cheat.
No,
but
he's responsible for being a hero. So they said, well, we can't throw our hero out, so let's do something else.
No. His dad donates to the university. So.
Oh, come on. His dad was killed in the first beginning of that show.
He donated the money before he was killed.
Yeah, he willed it.
It's totally USC all over again.
It was willed.
But anyway, the president's not here ticking a box. We thought, or Burnham thought, this president is here to be a politician, and I don't fucking like politicians being politician up in my shit. So she was not happy with it, and then realized, and then she gets questions like, what, this bitch is questioning me what I'm doing. What the fuck is going on? And then we get to the scene, and the reality hit. There are 3 dead, 4 wounded, but 9 did get to go home. And the tough situation that where decisions were made, were they the right decisions? And the president says, hey, also, I'm not here to tick that box. The reason she's there is she's looking for a captain for a new prototype
Voyager.
that's going to go into Voyager, a prototype drive. And Burnham's like, and I'm not the one you're going to choose. And now you're going to tell me why I'm not the one, aren't you?
Yeah, but Burnham was being a kind of catty in a way because the president was telling her, and it's like, look, you need to be able to understand you can't save everybody, and you got to be able to accept the fact that you can't save everybody. But I did.
Yeah, she's like,
but
I
now
did, and I do it all the time. It's like that's my job, and I'm really good at it.
Yeah, but luck doesn't always hold true. And she was right. You take wide swings, and you've been lucky with those wide swings. But what are you going to do when you can't? And it goes back to what Picard had told Data when he couldn't win in that game. Sometimes you could do everything perfect and still lose. It's not a flaw. It's a fact of life.
Yeah. And I was going to say, she was totally catty and everything too, because another thing that she did was she was like, well, I wouldn't have accepted it anyway because Discovery is my home and I wouldn't have left them.
It was a bitch move.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a little bit like, you're not that important to me. You're still a politician. I don't like you, basically, was what she's saying.
It's like, Discovery's my family, and I don't care if you did it and gave it me the ship. I wouldn't have took it, so there.
And it was interesting when she had the conversation with the Admiral in the beginning that there are good uses for politicians. That was another thing I saw that was a kind of an interesting learning moment that I don't know if Burnham's quite figured out yet.
No.
I really hope what they do is they take this as like the bottom, like everyone has has to start somewhere, and you're never going to be good when you're first starting. And this is like Michael's bottom. So as we go through the seasons and progress, and she progresses as a captain, she becomes like, we see her grow and we see her become like one of the best captains there is.
I go with what you're saying, Heather. I think you're right.
Anybody who was like me was hearing Heather talking about the bottom. Substitute the beginning. This is the beginning of her career. This is her starting point. It has nothing to do with her bottom. And I apologize for thinking about her bottom that way.
That fat ass.
Bottom. Yeah, but it was good. And you saw when she heard that book was back on, she's like, blip, blip. She's right over there to where he's at.
Didn't even walk into the next room. She fucking just double tap. We're beamed over. That was kind of funny. The captain's got to get there quick. So that's what that thing is for.
She was right there. It's like, what the hell happened? Are you okay? What's going on?
And oh my God, this is the Alderaan moment of the show.
I know. When she says, well, scan for the planet.
It's not there.
And it's like, what do you mean it's not there? Well, widen your scan. And then you see this the pimple of a planet with this like, oh my God. And the realization,
it was like J.J. Abrams' Vulcan all over again.
And with me being a positive thinking person, I was looking at the image, go, well, there's a section up north that's not all wrecked. maybe they're
I was
there.
thinking maybe the other side's okay. We can't see all the way through
I know. I was thinking like a little Bondo. Maybe,
I mean, maybe there's somebody to save still. Get the rescue party going.
We can get some super glue and get those dots out there and fix it up.
But yeah, we're getting they had another one of these moments, the montage reaction shot. You saw a shot of everybody looking at it and going, because that's devastation, and they're all looking at it, and you get the book's
that planet
reaction.
was so beautiful.
Oh, it was a gorgeous planet.
With those worms that they saved, the creatures, everything, and it's like it was a lush, basically almost like a lush paradise.
Yeah. And it's all gone. It
was a gangster's paradise.
Yeah, well,
that too.
Well, now it is.
Now it's a bunch of rocks.
It's
and lava.
It's a bunch of Rok-Tahk.
And fire.
And it's messed up. And then we're at the end of this episode, then the music, and then they hit, I mean, if you have been paying attention to the music the entire episode, you get to the credits, and the mix of this music was so beautiful and still different. It's the same music we hear during the show, but it's different instruments playing this music, and the emotion of it all. It's just, I get, as much as I love all the visual effects on this show, I equally love the music done in this show because it is done to that high caliber. It's just right for the show.
I agree. It makes me wish that I had music like that in my life for real, so I could tell if I'm getting ready to get into some shit I shouldn't. Because if I walk into a house and I hear this, dun, 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 it's like, fuck that, leaving. Did you hear that sound?
Did you hear it go, dun, dun, dun.
Turn around. The Dodd heard you, and he recorded some music, and he's on his way to go follow you. So when something happens, he has music he could play for you.
It's got that wah-wah sound effect on it, doesn't it?
I don't want him doing that. Why is he going to do that? I had a feeling.
Out for that.
I still got this other one wanting to play Start Me Up all the time.
So I don't get it. He's something else. Wait, what do you mean? The show's almost over? What are you doing?
We kind of had a long one, sir. Oh,
he's trying to do music on me. Get out of here. Okay. This we're gonna have to go because our computer guys got to go to a training exercise, so we got to get ready to tie it down. So we're gonna quickly do the rating. So Heather, what would you give Prodigy and the first episode here of Discovery? What would you give
Prodigy? I would give a 7. I really enjoyed it. I think they did a great job, and I'm looking forward to seeing more episodes. Discovery, I would give probably an 8.5 or a 9. I'm really liking where they're going with this, and it's just movie quality, and everything they do is just, I can't think of anything wrong, but I don't want to give it a 10, so 8.5, 9 area.
Okay, how about you there, number one?
I would give Prodigy 7, and I would give Discovery a 9.5. I really, this whole episode was just like, it was nonstop, bing, bang, bong.
Your full 9.5. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I loved it. And visually, it was amazing.
Stunning. I agree. How about you, Chief?
Oh man, I was hard on these episodes, as in the
You had a hard on with these episodes?
That was, well, not the Prodigy one so much.
Hard-
the Prodigy
hard
one I
eight.
liked. I'm a definitely 8.5 on Prodigy, if not close to 9, because I'm enjoying the show and I want more. And the same thing with Discovery. This was, I mean, I could probably hit a 10, if not a 9.5, because it was such a great comeback to the show that I realized that, you know, people are snarking on it a lot. You know, you see them on Twitter, you see them like, no Trek, yuck. But I've been on board Discovery for a while, and it definitely feels like this is a season that's going to hit right the entire season. And the first episode left me with like, wow, and it's back and it's big and it's awesome. And there's so much to look forward to. You know, I mean, it sucks they blew up a planet, but what are you going to do? They got to do something in the show. Somebody's got to lose a planet at some point. It's Star Trek.
Someone's got to blow a planet.
I mean, I don't think, I mean, they lost planets back in Kirk's time. They had the planet killer, but we didn't see it so visually. But yeah, so it's so exciting to see. And then they hit us with the second episode that I can't talk about.
I know.
So next week is going to be really good too, guys.
That was good.
And I can't wait to get more. I'm really on board this whole ship ride so far. We're solid Star Trek now till what day are we solid to? I mean, definitely into the new year, right?
Yeah, all the way through. There's going to be hiatus coming up on Prodigy.
But this is such a great Star Trek, and then they're going to hit us with Picard soon, right? And Strange New Worlds.
I'm so excited
I'm
that
so
we don't
excited.
have to do Enterprise.
So much is coming up, and it's so good. and I'm going to make Heather watch an episode of Enterprise once in a while.
But it was, I will say that despite all the naysayers talking about how much Star Trek sucks and how everything is evil, well, it must suck so bad that they're putting even more money into it. So I can't see that being the case.
Yeah, and they're using new visual effects techniques.
Yeah.
They're just amazing. They're
And it looks
pioneering.
like a movie.
So
it's
it's really cool.
amazing.
And Archer Space Dock was so cool. Did Heather have a reaction to that? Did we talk about the Space Dock?
Yeah, but they didn't play the music with it, even though they did a little subtle
They
music.
played Archer's theme during the music. They didn't play Faith of something or other.
No.
They played the other one.
His character intro thing.
Yeah.
So for me, my rating is that I went from an 8 and then I grew into a hard 9.5. So the 8, I really liked how the crew is beginning to gel on Prodigy. It's about time that Del and Gwyn buried the hatchet and started working together. I think they're going to be a very effective crew as they continue. And he loses some of his assholeness. And you started to see the promise of that in this episode. And as for Discovery, it was a visual feast for the eyes. I really enjoyed the detail. I enjoyed the real talk because it shows that the characters that we're grow to love are still fallible. They still have things they need to work on. And it's nice that they bring out those points and show it through other characters, like with the Admiral and with the President. And they're giving all of that. And you do see how Michael is really got to change up. And Saru is like the fucking Rock of Gibraltar. He's just a voice of reason. And he's so...
Censored by Section 31.
Ooh.
And the fact that he walked in and that thing was swinging back and forth, it was really amazing.
Should we talk about the second episode, but without giving like Section 31 spoilers?
No, we can't because we got to get our computer guy.
We've got a long show already, and it's still getting longer because we're still talking.
We're going to go ahead and get out of here. However,
Next week's
quick
episode
question.
is called Anomaly.
How you knew I was going to ask you about next week's episode? You're reading my
Because I'm
mind.
smart.
It is free. You are smart. You make us strong.
I do.
So it's going to be a cool episode. Believe me, because we saw it. It's going to be amazing. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the show. Make sure you come in next week so we can tell you more. I don't know if we're doing double shows. I think that was it for Prodigy.
Prodigy doesn't start back up until January.
That's what
6th.
I thought. So we'll get a chance in next week's episode. We'll talk a little bit about our experience when we were on the virtual premiere. So we can actually talk a little more about that since the second show would drop and we can give you all behind the scenes information. Thank you, everyone who's been donating to Patreon. And if you're a first time person here, remember, you can go to our website, www.starfleetunderground.com, where you get a link to our show notes, else, you get a chance to see all of our links and everything else as well. We're on SoundCloud, YouTube, and of course on Apple. In fact, I tested it out the other day with someone in Germany. I yelled at his computer from the internet to play the latest episode of Starfleet Underground, and it started.
That's awesome.
It was amazing. So
That
just
is
remember,
so cool.
you guys can do it all over the place. Thank you for joining us. And remember, just don't have a great week. Oh, wait. And also if you're on in the United States, when you get this broadcast, have a good Thanksgiving. Be safe and enjoy time with your family. And remember, no matter how much they get on your nerves, you're only there for a little while. So remember, just don't have a great week, but make it so.
And if you can, support the show by going to patreon.com/Starfleet Underground. Lots of perks to choose from, and you might even like some of them. Starfleet Underground, beaming into a podcast feed near you. Log on to our website at starfleetunderground.com and send your comments and questions to thecollective@starfleetunderground.com. Follow us on Twitter at StarfleetUnderG and on Facebook and Instagram, we're Starfleet Underground.